Hey guys, and welcome back to my channel. Today I am going to be talking about prerequisites for nursing. Kind of the good, the bad, not necessarily the bad, but just like the struggles that I've encountered personally so far and some of the things that I feel like I'm doing a good job at. So I'll start off with like the things that have been challenging so far, because I think there's a lot more like golden nuggets in looking at the things that are challenging for you and finding ways to kind of combat those, finding alternative ways to make them a little bit better, versus it's so much easier to look at our strengths. So when I first started, the biggest challenge was honestly just that the information was almost brand new again. I wasn't able to easily pull stored information from biology class that happened like 12, 13 years ago, from my stored memory. I wasn't able to pull all these different concepts that I learned in high school out and be able to like put forth that knowledge into my program, because I didn't use it. What you don't use, you don't remember. And so the beginning of my program was super challenging that way. Like everything was almost new. So you were getting 6 different subjects, all new information, and trying to juggle that, trying to figure out what information was important. Everything felt kind of important because I didn't have a practical sense to apply a lot of these foundational subjects into my life. The easier courses like my psychology class, my communications class, and my careers class have so far been the most practical. Biology has been extremely practical because I have a body and because I care about my body. I really am interested in what goes on internally and how that relates to the outside world. So those 4 have been relatively easy. The others not so much. Which brings me to my second point, and this challenge was kind of I just kind of recognized, because at the beginning I thought it was just the overwhelm of having so many courses. It wasn't actually that. The amount of information that I'm learning, the amount of homework that I'm doing isn't actually that stressful. What has been stressful is like trying to figure out that I'm actually not good at subjects that I can't relate to my own experience and that I can't use on a daily basis. So chemistry, you have to memorize formulas and understand those things, and they are an extremely big foundation for medicine. However, I don't use that on a daily basis, so I'm really having to work really hard at trying to get my brain to understand that this is something that you want to know. Right now I feel like my brain is kind of fighting me a little bit, in the sense of, this information you're not using on a daily basis, so we don't really need to remember that. And I'm like, except we kind of do, because in the grand scheme of things, all of like medicine kind of bases off chemistry, so kind of is important. Math has kind of been the same way. There's been more practical sense in how it would relate to the health field, but I'm not in the health field right now. I do momming, I go to the gym, I eat healthy foods, and then I go to class and learn things. So that's kind of the extent as to my life. And if I can't relate that into a practical sense other than like budgeting and buying groceries and stuff, you don't get into algebraic equations when you buy groceries. So yeah, that has been like my most recent knowledge when I do some self-reflection, is I just really struggle with information that I'm learning that I can't put into a practical sense. So those are the 2 like biggest struggles I've had so far. So all in all, I would say like the most challenging thing for me so far is trying to prioritize this information in my brain when none of the subjects really interact with each other. But chemistry and math are a little bit harder because I don't use it on an everyday basis, but it doesn't mean it's not foundational to nursing. It's extremely important, and I understand that. Now moving on, I think that's about it for struggles right now. I don't actually really struggle with time management, with the workload. I kind of like having a full plate. Honestly, I am a Gemini moon, so I like a lot of mental stimulation. I like a lot of information and knowing things. That part is actually fairly easy for me. Oh my god. So now let's get into the things that I've I feel like I've actually been doing well at. One is time management. I'm pretty good with my time because I'm a mom. It's just kind of a fact that when you are responsible for little people who don't know how to manage their own time, you kind of have to be good at time management. You kind of have to be good at navigating schedules, doing work when you don't want to do work, kind of being able to grade yourself through things that are mundane, or, you know, those are just things that are natural skills that come from being a parent. So I already possess those things. I think if you were going into prerequisites and you weren't used to that, that would be like a really big challenge. So I think as a mature student, we are faced with like our own struggles versus people coming right out of like high school who already have a lot of this information. There's just a difference of life experience and being able to juggle various things. The second thing that I'm really good at is getting things done. And honestly, a lot of skills come from being a parent, to be honest. Like a lot of these practical skills that are needed in these kind of careers is like a really big asset when you are a parent. Even though it is like double the workload, that's fine. But keeping up with assignments, it's not fun because they don't relate to each other. Like when I'm doing an assignment for my biology and a lab and trying to know definitions, it's completely separate than my math. It's completely separate than my psychology. I can't relate the two, so that's a big struggle, but I still manage to get the work done. I make really good use of my planner. I stay on top of assignments and all of those things. I don't love that we have a ton of small assignments, but I'm kind of getting the hang of it. You know, it is what it is. I think it does help your grade, so that's one thing. But yeah, so I think that's kind of my experience so far. I'm really enjoying it. There's always going to be polarity in everything that you do. There's always going to be enjoyable things and not enjoyable things, and it's really about, are you okay with the not so enjoyable things? And yeah, like totally, 100%. Even the things that I don't enjoy about prerequisites, I still find a usefulness to them, and I know that down the road I will be very thankful that I took this course. One thing I would say is if you're looking for experience and you're looking to people to provide you with their personal experience, take it with a grain of salt, because nobody has the same perception, nobody has the same traumas, the same life experience as you do. So your experience will not be the same as anybody else's. What's hard for one person might not be hard for another. Where somebody excels, you might not excel. So you honestly kind of need to do more self-introspection, have more awareness of your strengths and weaknesses, and then kind of just take all of these experiences and then come to a conclusion on your own, because nobody's ever going to give you the right answer. You kind of only know that for yourself. So with that being said, I'll end the video. Thank you guys so much for watching. I hope this was helpful in some way. I thought it'd be kind of cool to share my experience, and we'll see you in the next one. Bye guys.